All right, well, as promised, Talking Tigers, back with the Week 10 projections. Take a look back here, see how we did with our Week 9, trying to prognosticate 2 weeks ahead. So this is what we had heading into this past Friday. So you can take a look, see where we were at there. So that's what we were projecting for after Week 10. This was our bracket, a projected bracket prior to Friday night. Here are some misses. So we predicted 26 different games. We got 19 of those right, 7 not. So the big misses were Upper Arlington defeating Kaufman and New Albany defeating Pickerington North. Those were both big games to miss. Obviously, with those 2 wins, both of those teams moved up significantly and changed the projections. Second level misses, we had 5. Mason beat Fairfield. That actually benefited Gahanna. Berlin defeated Marysville. Hayes defeated Canal by a point. Kilbourne defeated Westerville North, and Olentangy upset Jerome. So those were the misses. These 2 right here, obviously on the first level, were much bigger than these second level misses. All right, so here's where we're at. We took into consideration the Week 9 results, so this is what we're projecting things to look like after Friday night in Division I, Region 3. So you can take a look. Obviously, these can change based off of outcomes, but this is what we're projecting. So this is a look at the new bracket. We've got some of these right. So I think we ended up with 9 out of the 16 teams were on the right line. Gahanna, Lancaster, that didn't change. Darby, Bradley, that didn't change. Pick Central and Central Crossing, the matchup didn't change. Our projection last week had that as a 3-14 matchup, which Upper Arlington and New Albany threw a wrench into that. But that would be 5-12. Thomas Worthington, Westerville Central there in the 4-13. Pickerington North, obviously losing to New Albany. We had them slotted in the 2 spot last week, now dropping down to 6. Of course, they have a huge game with Gahanna on Friday night at home. We have them projected to play Davidson at 11, UA at 3, hosting Westerville North, Grove City at 7, hosting Groveport, and New Albany at 2, hosting Reynoldsburg. So that is what we're projecting the bracket to look like. So here's a look once again at Pick Central's worksheet. So this week we have, we're predicting Liberty to beat Orange, so that'd be a good second level. We're predicting North to lose to Gahanna, so that's 0. Newark to lose to Lancaster, that's 0. Central Crossing to lose to Groveport, that's 0. But you get 2 of those games back on the back end because Groveport beating Central Crossing would give us another 6.5. Lancaster beating Newark would be another 6.5. So we're getting 13 either way. The win over Reynoldsburg would give us 6.5 on the first level, and then we would gobble up 19.5 on the second level from Reynoldsburg. So we should be roughly around 22.4. Now, I did the calculation for if we beat Reynoldsburg and Pickerington North beats Gahanna, then we would be around 23.05, which doesn't really change a whole lot. All right, here's some things for Tiger fans to need to know. Pickerington Central could finish as high as 4. Finishing at 4 would be best case scenario, because if you finish at 4, you're guaranteed, if you continue to win, to host the first 2 rounds. But we could also finish as low as 7, which is still good because we're guaranteed to host. With that win over Reynoldsburg, we'd be guaranteed to host a first round playoff game. And you never know what would happen. A team gets upset in the first round, we could end up hosting again in the second. But anywhere from 4, 5, 6, or 7 is where we'll finish. And these are the possible opponents. Central Crossing keeps showing up. Westerville Central is another possible opponent. If we got up into that 4 spot, we'd probably end up playing them. If we were down around 7, possibly Groveport. Davidson and Westerville North are other possible opponents. So with a win over Reynoldsburg, our opponent in Week 11 will be one of these 5 teams listed right here. All right, the last thing, so the big moves. Gahanna, already locked in, win or lose, already locked in at number 1. Pickerington North is a team, right now we're projecting at 6. Could move up as high as 2 with a win over Gahanna. That game is at Pickerington North. Thomas Worthington, with their game at Berlin, or against Berlin, they win. They're probably going to end up in the 4 spot. But if they lose, you're talking about a team that could be down around that 7, 8 spot. Westerville North, Scioto we're predicting Scioto to win that game, but Westerville North could get a couple more points on their average with a win over Scioto. Groveport, another team with Central Crossing, which obviously would be the same for Central Crossing. Upper Arlington has Davidson this week, so they need that win to solidify that top 3 spot. Darby, we told you last week, Darby could be one of the biggest movers. They already got half their work done, winning last week, and then they got Jerome. So we're predicting right now that a loss to Jerome, although Jerome's coming off a loss. And Jerome is number 1 in Region 2. But they could go from 8th to 3rd or 4th with a win over Jerome. So Darby is a team that, if they finish 6 and 4, could be in that 3rd or 4th spot. Davidson could benefit greatly from beating Upper Arlington. Bradley the same with a win over Kaufman. Westerville Central's in that same scenario with a win over New Albany. And we mentioned Central Crossing, Groveport as well. So those are some of the key matchups. But, 2 teams that really could be impacted this week is Pickerington North with a win over Gahanna. Could jump all the way up to 2nd. And Darby, with a win over Jerome, could go from roughly 8th to that 3rd or 4th spot, which would be huge. So that is what we're looking at. Feel free to watch this as many times as you would like to make sure that you just take in all this information. Again, this is your below average analysis site, so take all this with a grain of salt. But we hope you enjoy, and let's see how we do.